You're listening to the Heritage Film Club podcast show. It's three lads chatting about a movie that one of them forced the others to watch. If you're looking for an in-depth analysis of your favourite movies, boy, have you come to the wrong place. My fancy British accent is as smart as this show will ever sound. These guys barely know what they're talking about. It's time to sit back, relax and enjoy. Welcome to the club. Now here are your hosts, Mike, Brian and Clayton.
Yeah, so
Hey, you know the lady that died, the movie star who was in Game of Thrones.
Oh, Diana Rigg.
Yeah.
Miss Peel.
Emma Peel, yeah.
What is she big from? Like
Miss
besides
Peel
Game of
from
Thrones?
the Avengers, not the Marvel one.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the. Okay, so there was an Avengers before the Marvel one.
There was an old British spy TV show.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Then it got made into a really dreadful movie with
With
Uma
Uma
Thurman
Thurman and Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, Ray Fiennes or something, was it? I think.
Yeah, I think it was Ray Fiennes as well.
Yeah, yeah. And
Ah,
we just all
okay.
kind of ignored that. But yeah, she was Mrs. Peel in the Avengers, and she was Mrs. James Bond.
This is really funny because I was thinking, should we bring this up? Because it only happened, I think, today.
Mhm.
And then I thought, no, we'll leave it off. I'll put it on the Instagram. And now Clayton, of all people, brought it up.
Oh no,
So-
because they kept on saying that she was from the Avengers, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
no, she wasn't. She was in Game of Thrones. I know that, but
She was great in Game of Thrones.
yeah, but I couldn't remember her from the Avengers, and I was like, oh, you guys would know. So
So,
these are never
Yeah.
Avengers. Who knew?
So in loving memory. And I guess while we're on that topic, Chadwick Boseman as well.
Yeah.
So very sad.
So gutted at that. That was really out of the blue, wasn't it?
So out of the blue. Man, when you said to me, you texted me and said, did you hear about Chadwick Boseman?
Mhm.
And the first thing I thought was, oh man, has he done something and he's got fired off Black Panther? And I did not expect.
No. It was like
What
the
came-
extreme, wasn't it? The other end of
Yeah.
what that could have been. Yeah,
That was the worst possible alternative to what I was thinking.
totally.
I was almost wishing it had been my
It
thing.
was just horrible. Yeah.
Very bad. Yeah. So again, in loving memory. Now you can all go and watch Black Panther, or even better, the Jackie Robinson biopic he did.
I've not seen that.
It's really good. I
Is
think
it
I posted about it the other day. Now I can't remember the number. I think it's 42.
42. Yeah.
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 Harrison Ford's in it too, and it's really good. And of course, he's in Get On Up, and he played James Brown. So could be another one. I haven't watched that one yet.
Lots
so,
to check out.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be Black Panther.
Doesn't have
But-
to be. A couple of things on Netflix too.
Yep. But Wakanda Forever. So good. Surprised Clayton didn't start with that actually.
Hey, there was
Man, you're all about Wakanda Forever.
I know. I like last week. I did the whole Black Panther thing with the kids, but that was about it.
Okay. Well,
I'd
all
like
right.
to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, I might give it a second go. I've only watched it the one time.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was okay. Nothing to do with him. Just it was the movie.
Just the movie.
Anyway,
Fair enough.
that's not the movie we're here to talk about. So we're here to talk about. Welcome to the show, by the way. Episode 6 of the Heritage Film Club. We're here to talk about Falling Down, the 2003 action thriller directed by Joel Schumacher, who passed away recently as well, June of this year from cancer, who is best known for directing Batman and Robin, the movie that killed a franchise. But putting that aside, he has actually done some really good movies. He directed The Client, Flatliners, 8mm, A Time to Kill, Phone Booth. And I think The Lost Boys, which I didn't put on there. So that was a fail. So, can't judge him by one movie. And we'll see if we judge him by this movie, I guess. So it stars Michael Douglas, obviously, Robert Duvall, and Barbara Hershey. Budget of $25 million, grossed $40.9 million. Now, the Rotten Tomatoes. Do you guys want to have a guess? Which was higher? Critics or audience?
Audience.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, correct. So critics gave it 73 and audience gave it 84. So actually quite a big margin for the audience, but not as high as movies we've been watching recently. But this was not a big blockbuster movie, obviously. So, quick round table. I think I know the answers. I was going to give my predictions, but I'm just going to see what you say. So, Brian, did you like it or not?
No.
No, that's what I thought. Clayton?
Can I ask a question before I get into that?
Yes.
Is this movie like a cult movie? Like, does it have a cult following?
Yeah, I think it does.
Oh, okay. No, I was just curious. I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah, I thought you might be.
It's a movie of two halves for me.
Yep, exactly. And that's exactly what my predictions were going to be. Damn, I wish I'd said them now.
Well, we
Okay.
trust you.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I was pretty sure Brian would hate it when I was watching it last night, and I was on the fence whether Clayton would like it or not, because I find there's parts of it where I think, yeah, he'll dig that or relate to that, and then there's parts where I think he would be like, no. So, should we get into it then?
And you, Mike.
Oh, me, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I remember it being a completely different movie. Not a completely different movie.
How long
I'll
ago?
get into it.
How long ago had you seen this before?
Oh, a long time.
Okay.
I'll get into what I mean, but I remember it differently than what it is. But I still like it. But like you said, it's sort of a movie of two halves. So yeah, we'll get into that.
Right.
So, Clayton, do you want to go first?
Yep. So I can tell you two scenes in this movie where I was enjoying the whole movie up until that point.
Can I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Was it just from the beginning until the drive-by?
No, I enjoyed that.
Okay.
I mean,
No, I know.
enjoy it.
I mean, all the bits in between that.
Yeah. So no, you keep on going.
No, go. Just tell us.
So you know the part where he's like dealt with the Nazi guy.
Oh yeah, I hated that part.
No, that was fine. But then he's on the phone to the ex-wife.
Yes.
That part I hated. That part I was just like, oh, what? Because I went through the first half of the movie thinking, oh, maybe they're just like having an argument. I didn't realize how crazy the guy was supposed to be. Then through that scene there, you actually learn that, oh my God, he's batshit crazy.
Didn't it happen before that? Had she already not called the police by then?
I had, because she had called him like at the drive-by scene, but the scene where he's actually in the army surplus store calling his wife, and he's like, you know what I can do? I can come and see you, rah. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a bit too much for me. Yeah.
Okay, so were you uninvested for the rest of the movie from there, or
I wanted him
did
to
it get
die.
you back? Or
I wanted him to die.
okay,
Like,
oh yeah, we'll
up
say
until-
spoilers.
Oh yes, well as he dies. Up until that stage, I was like, I was down for his character. I was like, oh, everybody's having a bad day. Everybody's just going along doing the thing.
That's exactly why I thought you would relate.
But it was that scene, and then the scene when, you know, the scene when he goes through the golf course, gives the guy the heart attack.
Yep.
And then he jumps the fence.
hmm
And then he kidnaps the gardener's girl just for a little bit, even though the parents are there. But he's like, got her. I was like, bro, you just crossed the line. You're doing everything that society's told you not to do, that you're doing yourself, because you're doing something not to react to a certain social aspect, but to react just so you can get away because you've got the girl there. I was like, nah, I hope you die. And then he died at the end. Hey.
Okay, so overall negative or more
overall,
positive?
okay with the movie. Like, glad I watched it. Would I recommend it? Yeah, or maybe no. You're like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I mean, I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
What about? I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but go on, Brian. What's your thoughts?
I think if you're going to predict that, you should probably, it's like the prediction you missed before, you should try this now and see if you can figure out what I'm going to say.
Try it.
There were no redeeming characters and
variation on a theme, yeah. I found it. I thought it was a disappointing movie
Okay.
because I thought I thought I understood what the premise of it was. From remembering when it was released long back. I'd never seen it before,
Hmm.
and so I was thinking, from what Clayton was saying before, this is a guy having a bad day. And as the day gets worse, it pushes him over the edge. And that's where I thought it was going when it starts off and he's sitting in traffic and there's all these annoying things happening. I'm
Yep.
thinking this is the point where, it's like starting him on the slope. He's just this guy who was pushed too far.
Yeah, that was what I thought too.
Yeah. And then it's like the further into it you get, and it doesn't take too long, to be honest. You just realize he's just this guy who's off his rocker. And so I was kind of disappointed because I thought that would be a much more interesting story for someone
Yep,
who was
agree.
just, it's that one bad day thing,
Hmm.
kind of getting to the edge of it. Yeah, and from a character point of view, I just thought it was lazy. I was thinking during the week, it's like there's no characters in this for me; they're caricatures. It's going to sound really film criticky. It's like he meets the gang members, and they're like the cardboard cutout Hispanic gang members.
Yep.
And then he meets the guy in the Army surplus store, and he's the cardboard cutout crazy guy with guns who hates everybody.
That was a terrible scene.
And prejudice is right out there, which just really, really poorly done.
Mm.
And then it's like everybody that defends, I suppose we call him, Will meets along the way is just aggravating, so that he's always aggravated. Everybody he meets is just a bit of an arsehole, really.
Yep.
Yeah, I could riff on about this for ages, and I'll try not to. Like the police captain's an arsehole, and the yuppie cop's an arsehole. Yeah. And he gets punched.
Worst character in the movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of that kind of lost me at that point. There was that bit was just looking at the characters. Say, other than the ex-wife, then Barbara Hershey's character, I thought she was really good. And then when the bit with the drive-by and he's on the phone to the wife, and there's this ex-wife, and all the shooting goes on, and they hit everybody but him. And I went, okay, I'm out. I was kind of really disconnected at that point.
That was a weird choice.
Yeah, very strange.
That stood out to me too. But then it's sort of, I didn't mind it so much when he went up to them after they crashed the car and he went, "You missed." I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah,
there were some weird choices in the movie.
Some strange choices. Actually, that was one that was an odd scene because he kind of comes up to the car, as you're saying. There's one guy's still in the car and one guy's on the ground. And it looked staged.
Yes,
it looked really fake. And it was just, so I started thinking through the movie and going, is he attempting to be satirical or being odd? And I thought if it was something like Paul Verhoeven, because you know what his movies are like, if he'd done it, you'd be going, it's satire and he means it. And I wasn't sure whether Joel Schumacher was trying to be ironic or something. Just with the way the characters were worked out and things like that scene with the shooting and all of that sort of thing. And then it threw me and I was kind of lost. I was really disconnected at that point from the movie for the rest of it.
Okay, that's a shame because that's only like halfway through.
Yeah, and it was just sort of, by then I'm kind of watching, get to the end and going, okay, and then found myself trying to predict what I thought he was going to do. And the only thing that really didn't do, that the movie didn't do that I thought it was going to do, was end up with Robert Duvall dying because he's that I'm on my day before retirement.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you all, when early in the movie they straight away go into his whole "it's my last day, I'm retiring at the end of today." Right from the beginning, did you assume he was going to die because of this? Because they kept going on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that's what it was for. Yeah, I thought that was what setup was for.
Yeah, so I was watching it last night, and my wife was watching it as well. And the first thing she said was like, "Well, he's going to die then." And I was like, yeah, it really is making you think that, but almost too much because they keep going on about it.
Yeah, and then you start to doubt it and go, well, maybe it's just maybe it is a setup, and then it's going to throw you some other way. I thought further into it that I thought that the lady cop, the cop who did get shot, was going to die.
Right.
I thought it might end up being something like that rather than him.
Yeah, there were some pretty bizarre choices in different parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Another one that stood out, which was really weird, was when Robert Duvall sees the billboard and he remembers it from the traffic jam, and he runs up into the bushes and sees the roadblock
hmm
and realizes, oh, it's that guy who abandoned his car. And he sees that the license plate is defense. And then after he tells his partner to go and investigate that, he yells out to Mr. Lee. He's like, Mr. Lee, defense. And I was like, why?
Okay, what is this?
I mean, like,
He has no
what a
idea
weird
what
thing.
about it, eh?
Like, you've been the most professional cop
Mm.
up until this point.
Mhm.
And I was like, I know you're elated because you've figured it out,
Yeah.
but not to the victim. It's
Yeah.
just weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that smashed up shop working out for you? Oh,
Yeah,
by
that
the
you're
way,
still cleaning up,
defense.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. We figured out his name, so cool. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely some odd choices. And like I said, which is why I kept doubting it. Is all of this sort of, does he mean it?
Yeah.
What was Joel Schumacher trying to make a point or something? And if he did, I missed it.
No, when he means it, you get Batman and Robin.
Yep.
Mm.
Yes, you do.
I was like you. I remember it being a guy who has a bad day, is just pushed and pushed, and it escalates. I completely forgot about the mental illness side of it, because I think when most people remember this movie, it's going to be the same,
Mhm.
because that's completely how it's set up. And all of those probably most memorable scenes all come from that part of it, from when he's just escalating before you realize he's actually mentally ill, and he's got extreme anger issues and all this, which comes out later.
Mhm.
And you're right, it turns it into a different sort of movie from that point.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, this will sound bad, but we've all had those thoughts, like, man, you go into a shop and everything is completely overpriced. It's like, this is just robbery, this is ridiculous. Not to the point of smashing up someone's store,
Mhm.
but you also have, the frustration in traffic jams. You also have, and I've literally thought before, it's, well, in his case, 11:35, but it's 10:35 over here. Why are you not serving breakfast? It's only 5 minutes after at McDonald's or whatever. But again, not to the point where I'm pulling out an Uzi and shooting up the place by accident or not. But there's some relatable thought process.
The guy in the
If that
park.
makes sense.
The guy in the park who wants money.
Yeah. It's sad to say, but yes.
Mhm.
But that guy, man, he pushes and pushes.
He does.
Jesus, I'm surprised he got off as lightly as he did.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised too. I thought that was one where he would turn around and something out of the bag.
I thought that too.
I think for me, the movie fell apart from the Nazi scene, from that gun store owner scene, because that was way too much.
Yeah.
That character, like, you could have done it a different way. You didn't have to go that far.
Mhm.
And I just, it's losing it now. And he, like you said, was definitely a caricature. It was just a very extreme, over the top stereotype of the sort of anti or the homophobic neo-Nazi but pro-America guy. Maybe that's relatable these days.
I wonder if 1993, if it was like that though.
I'm sure it's still like that.
Oh yeah,
especially
but
nowadays.
Like at that level though, back then.
Yeah, I would say there's always been people like that, but it just feels like, it's not even just the way he acted. It was like his whole character was just like, the thing that really did it for me in that scene was when he picked up the gas canister and he was like, look, it's used. That means it killed Jews.
Oh,
I wonder how many Jews it killed.
The
I was like,
gas.
the Cyclone B or whatever. And I was like, dude, man, I mean, I've been to Auschwitz and stuff, so it's even like, that's not funny.
Yeah, some things you just don't. Yeah.
Nah, and like, you can have the neo-Nazi, you can have the like, I'm anti-Semitic and I'm homophobic and stuff, but do you need to go as far as going, here's a used gas canister? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, everything in that scene was just dialed up to 12.
Yeah, it was just, it was really
wound.
and it was really different than the rest of the movie because the rest of the movie wasn't really dialed up that far.
Do you know what my original thought was when he was taking him to the back? I
I
thought
can guess.
he was going to be a UFO crazy,
Oh,
not
that was not my
Okay.
guess.
not Nazi crazy.
Oh, I thought, well, because I've seen it before, but I couldn't remember any of it, and I was like, oh, he's gonna have some sort of neo-Nazi thing because he's, well, not to stereotype myself, but he's, the gun shop owner. He was homophobic. He was sexist to the cop. He was very sort of just the way he was acting with Michael Douglas. I assumed he was going to be some sort of extreme right type of character. But that's an interesting take. But also another part of that scene, like when Michael Douglas turns on him, and then he pins him down on the table.
Yeah.
And he's right
gonna
behind
handcuff
him. Yeah. And he's like, whatever he's saying, I can't remember. But then it just turns it into a like, oh, is he a closet?
I thought that too.
Yeah, because he's so anti it. Is he actually it? Do you know what I mean?
Going a little bit Pulp Fiction on it, kind of.
Yeah. Exactly. The Z scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that scene is what took me out of the movie. It came around a bit, but from there it sort of just seemed really. It just changed in tone. It went from I can see a guy going into a store and doing that. I can see a guy going into a fast food chain to a point and doing that. But then when you get to like, okay, I've met the Nazi guy, and now I'm going to the golf course and letting an old dude die of a heart attack. Then I'm going to go and kidnap the family, even though he straight away says, "Oh, do you think I'm going to hurt your family?" No, that's not the point. I was like, yeah, but it sort of is, because
the family did nothing to him. That's what hacked me off.
But would you though? Like, he's got an arsenal of guns. He's dressed in military gear, and he's clearly crazy. He's just jumped a fence and cut his hand on the barbed wire.
Because they think he's the security guy there, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because he's all in black.
Correct.
Yeah, and then it turns out that not.
But then I think by the time, well, actually, one other thing that threw me was she's very, very. Barbara Hershey, the ex-wife, is very anti Michael Douglas's character. Obviously, she doesn't want him anywhere near them. She's got a restraining order of sorts. There's no room in their life for him, but she's kept all those videos because he goes to their house and watches all these home videos.
Yeah, maybe because it's a little girl growing up kind of thing, or
for the daughter.
But they're not good videos.
Bad, I mean,
but they're not good videos. They're like him going, "Just put her on the horse."
Yeah, well, that was a weird character bit for me, though. For him, like I say, he quite quickly becomes, he's an unhinged guy, and then it's almost like I wasn't sure if they were hurriedly trying to backfill towards the end of it to give it some kind of explanation, or whether it was meant to be this big reveal type thing, and that's like when he's put her on the horse and he's just escalating and getting worse and worse and worse. That felt really rushed for me at the end of it. It's just kind of he's just doing all these crazy and violent things all the way through, and you're trying to maybe guess at why he's doing it, or how did he get to this point, and then they fill it in at a rush later once they meet his mother, and it all just seemed like an odd way to stack all that character stuff in there, and including the home videos.
Yeah.
If you had something like that earlier, you'd go, "Oh, this, okay, I kind of starting to get a grip on what this guy's about."
I think they alluded to it earlier because I think was it Barbara Hershey maybe said he can get really angry. And she said that at one point, which I think was before that.
Yeah.
But that was sort of it. True. And then you sort of start thinking, oh, okay. But then, like you say, then it ramps up, and he goes from guy having a bad day to all out, like psychotic, angry guy. Yeah. I just want to be careful with my words because it's obviously a serious topic with mental
It is.
illness and stuff,
It's
and I
deep,
don't want to
but
come across like I'm making light of it or anything. So I'm just trying to pick my words. But yeah, it's a really weird uh, jump because it doesn't gradually build up to it. It just goes, oh, by the way, this is what he is now.
yeah. 'Cause he's kind of, for mine, sort of dehumanized a little bit at the beginning because he doesn't have a name, and you find his name, what, 3/4 of the way through the movie, I suppose it is.
Mm,
2/3, 3/4 of the way through. And it's a little late at that point. He's become that sort of, for me, he'd become that caricature. He'd become just this, this blank who's really angry,
yeah,
violently so, and then
Very
becomes
angry.
murderous because then to a point, the shooting the gang member in the leg when he has that choice, and then later on, sort of no compunction whatsoever for shooting the gun store guy.
yeah, and I think it's also he starts off just with an argument, then he graduates to the baseball bat,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, okay, it's as horrendously stereotypical of the scene as with the Latino gang members on and him being on their turf or whatever.
Yep.
I can see like, okay, well, they've pulled a knife or whatever. You've got your baseball bat. That's still realistic. The situation, like you could take them out with that, and then, just like any good game of Grand Theft Auto or whatever, when you take them out, you pick up their weapon. So he's graduated to a knife, but once it gets to the point where he's got guns, then it's like, it's now it's going a bit too far.
Becomes a little absurd. Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
because he then gets a rocket launcher.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it starts to get absurd.
Yeah.
Then it gets really absurd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do like the scene where he's talking to the kid and he's pretending he's making a movie. That's quite funny.
And the kid teaches him how to use it. Which,
Yeah. And I was like, your video games weren't that sophisticated back then, but I think he said he learned it from watching movies. So
yeah, saw it on TV or something, I think he says, yeah. Yes.
But that is still quite a funny scene, and it sort of got me a little bit back into it for a minute. But yeah, then when he goes full dark Michael Douglas, I don't know.
Yeah.
So whatever happened to Barbara Hershey? I should have looked that up because she's really good in the movie, like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like we need to look that up. So
Will do.
there you go. He got the cue.
He did. Nice
He
work.
did. Yeah. So, okay. Well, okay. So I do like the movie. I don't hate the movie, but I don't like it as much as I remember liking it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So, yeah.
Okay.
But you know what else I could have done with
given
that?
that this, sorry, Mike. Given that this was your choice,
Yes.
normally we kind of run through why did you choose it. If you think about the reasons why you chose it, do they match? Do they still match up? Having seen it again,
The first half an hour or so does,
okay,
because I think that's what I remembered.
right,
The bad guy whose day gets worse,
Yep.
and he goes along with it, is what I remembered the movie being, and I remember really enjoying it as well. So I just must have just completely blocked out that whole second half of the movie. I don't know. It was a long time ago,
Yeah.
and maybe my taste in movies has changed as well, or my. Okay, we say this every episode, but again, to reiterate, we don't know what we're talking about in terms of being film critics and stuff. But I feel like my, how do I say it? I feel I watch movies differently than I would have in my younger years,
Yeah.
and so maybe I've become more.
Perspective changes.
Yeah, and I've become more. I don't want to use the word educated, but like you can. Yeah, you look at movies through a different eye.
You do.
Yeah. So yeah, I still like the movie overall, but there's a lot of it I don't agree with or feel was not great.
Yeah.
And so I think it's not as highly regarded in my mind now as it was.
Right.
So, because one thing I could have really done without, and I think we all could have, because it didn't need to be in there at all, it would not have changed much, is Robert Duvall's wife.
Yeah.
Did not need to be in there at all, and especially introducing her in the way they did,
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
That was really weird, wasn't it?
So
It wasn't just
ridiculous.
me
I
then.
almost wanted to turn the movie off because my
Yeah.
father-in-law and my wife were all in the room,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, this is just weird." and his mum as well is very stereotypical. Michael Douglas's character's mum
Yeah.
is very stereotypical, sort of the almost probably abused elderly mother that he lives with.
Mm.
It was very much pointing to the fact that he, if not physically, definitely mentally abuses her, verbally. So there were things that are in there that I was like, does this really need to be in there? Or does it need to be in there in the way it is? Like we've already touched on a lot, the gun store scene. I mean, apart from the fact he's getting different clothes and a rocket launcher, does that need to be in there? Because he already had all the guns and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the second half of this movie is almost like Grand Theft Auto, the movie. But yeah, I think right up until the whammy burger scene, where he goes into the restaurant for breakfast.
Yep.
Up until there, I was all on board, and then I think not far after that is where I was jumping off again.
It kind of went south. I thought it was weird that the waitress was kind of attracted to him.
I thought that was fun. I think it was more that
Yeah.
if you work in that sort of job, which I have,
Yeah.
Your managers and supervisors are not usually the friendliest people.
Yeah.
And I think it was more that because he stood up to the manager and was giving him shit,
Yeah. And
she liked that.
Yeah. And it's the whole, there's like that one bit of comic effect in this movie is kind of, she's gone a little bit, you call it, not quite Helsinki syndrome. He hadn't been in there long enough. But it was just this weird little thing,
It's Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome, is that one?
Yeah, but good. You got a European city, so
Was
that
it?
was good.
There you go.
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah.
That's a Die Hard reference.
No, that's what it is. I'm sure it is. Where's Clayton gone? He can
Stockholm
Google this.
syndrome, Yeah.
Oh, I am here.
Was it
I was
like
waiting for you.
Helsinki?
Hey, the lady.
Barbara Hershey.
Yeah, she's in a whole heap of movies that I absolutely have no idea what they're about.
But we probably will.
Yeah, but more known for Chicago Hope and Once Upon a Time TV show.
I didn't watch Once Upon a Time.
Well, okay.
Chicago Hope I didn't get into because it was an ER ripoff.
Didn't realize that she was in that. Okay, cool.
She's been in movies, like very famous movies.
Yeah, lots of.
Okay, Clayton, can you look something else up?
Embarrassingly enough, the only one I can remember of hers is Beaches.
Oh yeah, Beaches,
I
Black
to point out
Swan,
I've never seen it.
The
I just know whether she was in
Entity,
it.
It's
Hannah and the
Beaches.
Sisters.
It's Beaches.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Falling Down.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, The
Oh,
Natural, The Stuntman, Road Stuff, Lost Summer. Whole heap of movies. I have no idea what I'm looking at
Yeah, it
because I
was-
have none of them.
It was definitely Beaches.
Yeah.
And
Beaches
it's
and Black Swan.
definitely Stockholm syndrome. So I've looked that up now.
Oh, cool. There you go.
There you go. So you're in the
I'm
general
geographically
geographic.
challenged. That's a
No,
good
you're
thing.
in the general geographic vicinity.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't-
No, I don't think that counts. Clearly, psychiatry is not my thing.
No. Okay.
Neither
Oh,
are
man.
movies. But we've already
Hey, I
established.
think we're doing all right. Our listenership is going up. So
True.
to everyone who is listening to
I
us,
apologize to the 6 people.
hey, it's more than 6.
The 6 new
But-
people.
6 new people. Yeah. No, I think we're getting better as we go. So hopefully people are sticking with us. And again, if you want to chuck us your comments or critiques about the show, what we can do better, let us know. And if you want to give us your comments on the movie, do that, and we'll put them on the show. So we've all had a bit of a chat about it. We're all pretty much on the same page, I think. So should we move on to the trivia?
Let's.
Go for it.
Okay.
Here's the facts.
All right. So this was some fun trivias that I found, and so I want to go through them, and one especially, and I feel really dumb for not knowing this, but we'll get to that one a bit later. So, first, the little cameo in the beginning of the movie. The guy who is in the car behind Michael Douglas when he abandoned his car,
Mhm.
and he pops up a little bit later when Robert Duvall's character gets out of his car in the traffic jam, and they talk to the motorbike cop.
Yeah.
Oh, they push the car.
Yeah, and they push the car. So the guy who's pushing the car,
Yeah.
who's I think he's a linoleum salesman,
Yeah.
and does
I'm
tiles
in
as well.
linoleum myself.
Yeah, and we also do tiles. He is the writer of the movie,
Ah,
so it's a nice little cameo.
that's why he got the best line then about linoleum.
Yeah, yeah. Every time someone talks about linoleum, it's the best line in a movie.
Completely.
So, yeah. Okay, so going back to Sheila, the girl from Whammy Burger. Brian, did you know who that was?
It's Dee Dee Pfeiffer. It's Michelle
There you
Pfeiffer's
go.
sister. Dude.
Nice.
Of course.
Well done, because I know
Pfeiffer.
you're a big Michelle Pfeiffer fan.
I've even
so
seen Grease 2. And I'll say no more.
We won't.
Let's not.
No,
That will.
no,
I promise,
no.
hand on heart, that will never be my pick on the Heritage Film
never.
Club.
No, but Grease 1 might be, so then we
Oh,
may
yeah,
talk
Grease,
about Grease 2, but
could.
it'll be to the point of none of us have seen it except Brian.
And it should never be made.
It shouldn't be, no.
Yeah.
Um,
You're in the vault.
much like the upcoming prequel. So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh.
And it's about Danny and Sandy, too.
Oh.
Has it got Zac Efron in it?
Why would it have Zac Efron in it?
Why not?
Oh, was he in Grease Live? No, Vanessa Hudgens was. No. Yes. I don't know. Anyway, we're off topic. So, about Dee Dee Pfeiffer. So, yes, it was Dee Dee Pfeiffer, Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. So, then Michael Douglas went on years later to star with Michelle Pfeiffer in Ant-Man for the MCU. And in Ant-Man 2, his rival, who's played by Lawrence Fishburne for Clayton, the Morpheus from The Matrix.
Yep.
His character is called Bill Foster, which is the name of Michael Douglas's character in this movie. So I thought that was quite cool.
Didn't even spot that. That's brilliant.
No. All right. So Joel Schumacher, who directed this, he envisioned Michael Douglas, who was a friend of his, in the role. But Michael Douglas had just finished shooting 2 movies back to back and wanted to take a break from acting for a while to have time with his family. So anyway, he agreed to read the script and then decided it was one of the best scripts he's ever read and signed on to be in this movie. He might have only read the first half. Before this, every studio in Hollywood apparently had turned down the script, and it was almost decided that they'd end up pitching this to be a cable TV movie, which it sort of feels like.
Yeah, a little bit.
But since Douglas was involved, it got the green light, got a higher budget, and Douglas took a pay cut because he thought the film was important and wanted to have the film still make money, which it did technically, and I'll assume it didn't have a big marketing budget. So, yeah, I mean, it probably at least broke even.
25 million, you said, was it the budget for it?
25, and then it made 40. So normally when you count or take into account the budget for marketing and things, that can chew up a lot of that.
Yeah,
but I feel like this wasn't a highly marketed movie because, again, it's not a big summer blockbuster. So, yeah, probably still made some scratch. Michael Douglas considers this to be his favorite performance, and his dad, who is Kirk Douglas, of course, when this movie came out, considered it Michael Douglas's best performance to that point. And I will say Michael Douglas is good in it, especially in that first half. So, right, here's the one that I'm embarrassed I didn't know. So, Brian, what's my favorite? Yeah, what's my favorite episode of The Simpsons?
What's your favorite episode of The Simpsons?
Yes.
Now I'm going to be embarrassed because I don't know.
Yes, we've had this talk. We had this talk like 2 weeks ago.
We talk about lots of things.
Oh, my whole setup is ruined now.
Simpsons related. Okay, there's only 600 of them. Let me work my way through them and try and figure out which one is your favorite. No, you can feed it to me and we can re-record it.
Homer's enemy.
Ah, Frank Grimes.
Yes.
Okay,
Right. So,
back on track. Fair enough.
yes. That whole character is based on this character, Bill Foster. And if you think about the episode, that episode is more what we all thought this movie was going to be.
Yes.
A guy having a bad day. But they've dressed Grimes in the white shirt and tie, the glasses, the haircut.
The pen's in the pocket.
Yep. He's defense.
Wow.
I know, right? And I feel really dumb for not picking that up because that is my favorite episode by far of The Simpsons. Yeah. But again, like I said, that episode is more like what we thought this movie would be. So, yeah, anyway, that was my favorite little tie-in.
That's what Falling Down needed, was some guy making a model nuclear reactor with
in the kids'
fins.
competition.
In the kids' competition with fins.
Yep. And Racing Stripes didn't it have as well?
Racing Stripes, yes.
Yeah.
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 That's what I wanted. And lobster.
Yeah. And his son has to own a factory, but he's got a daughter in this, obviously. All right, that's a whole nother podcast. We've talked about it before, that we could just do random Simpsons episodes and just talk about them for an hour, and maybe we'll do that. So
I'm not sure I can watch that episode again now. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I know. It probably ruined it for you, eh?
It kind of broke me. Yeah. Appreciate that. That's revenge for me not getting you set up.
Yeah, really, because that's ruined the whole thing. I've been waiting a week for that. I've been
You were
friends
waiting
for
a week
20.
just to point and laugh and go, I knew you would hate this movie. I didn't hate it.
But hang on.
I just thought it was poor.
Wasn't it last week? Yeah, with Darren. Last episode, where you said, "You've known me for 20 years, and you still don't know." Come on, man. No, it's my turn to say that. All right. So anyway, moving on. Robert Duvall starred in the 2002 film John Q, starring Denzel Washington, I think, and he played a cop in that movie, and he was called Frank Grimes. So it all comes back to it.
Damn it, Hollywood! Get some new ideas.
I know. Okay.
What names?
So now that
I've
I've stumbled all over those facts, I'll keep moving on. All right. Now this one is a bit weird because I said before that nobody wanted to make this movie, and I said that Joel Schumacher envisioned Michael Douglas in the movie. However, there are some alternative castings popping up online, and I find that bizarre because it sounds like it wouldn't have got to that stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are these
No. This is apparently
like legit?
actual people considered for the role
okay.
of defense of Bill Foster. Now, when you hear the list, this makes it sound even more fake because it's just like a who's who of that era, literally. So, apparently, take it with a grain of salt, but it is from the internet, so it has to be true. People considered for the role: Jack Nicholson. Actually, let's do it a different way. I'll read the name and you tell me if you think you could see them in this role, okay? So, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Just the ability to play bonkers.
Ed Harris.
Don't know who he is. Oh,
well, this might be the case for most of these. He's
The Rock.
bad guy from The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the one with
Abyss.
the young guy with the glasses on and the hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Westworld.
No, you wouldn't watch this
in
one.
the Rock,
have you?
he's got the hat on.
He's the bad guy, the military guy. The main bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's not young.
Yeah, but he's got glasses and a hat.
Okay.
National Treasure 2.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Anyway.
Robert De Niro.
No. Don't
No.
see it.
Alec Baldwin.
No.
Jeff Bridges.
The Dude.
The Dude.
No.
And Nick Nolte.
Too crazy.
Too crazy.
Too
yeah.
crazy for defense.
Okay, this next one, I was on the fence, but I went with no because it's way too similar, or would have come across too similar as another role. Mel Gibson, because I thought it'd be too close or too similar to Riggs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I agree.
Michael Keaton, so you've had Batman and the Joker on this list. He probably could have pulled it off.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, I think.
Actually, I wouldn't mind him in the role, actually. Robin Williams, which at first was a weird choice, but then in his later career, he did do movies where he played the antagonist, like 1 Hour Photo
Yeah.
and things. So,
Yeah.
so maybe. Harrison Ford, definitely not.
No.
Dustin Hoffman, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
And Al Pacino, which I think would have been too over the top.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
I think some of those guys in there, like Michael Keaton, for example, if it had been the movie that we kind of thought it was going to be, just literally, one bad day, guy pushed too far, not already, completely tightly wound. I think that they could actually really do well with that.
Yeah, out of that whole list, Michael Keaton would be my pick.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so for the listeners who didn't like that segment, we're still playing around with format. We won't do it that way again. So I'll just read out the names. Cool. So for the very cliche, stereotypical role of Pendergrast, Robert Duvall's cop character who's chasing Michael Douglas, they had Gene Hackman, Walter Matthau, interestingly, Sidney Poitier, Paul Newman, who I don't think would have worked, and Jack Lemmon.
No.
And I find that interesting that they had Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon both on there.
Yeah,
so
both the grumpy old men. Yeah, I couldn't see any of them doing that, if I'm honest.
I could see possibly Gene Hackman if you took it from the French Connection.
Probably the closest, yeah.
Maybe Sidney Poitier as well. But I feel like he's not too good because Robert Duvall's good, but different type of actor. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, what would your guess be for the body count in this movie? For how many people died?
So dead, not just injured.
Dead.
12.
That's lower than I thought you would say, but okay.
I don't think many people died in this
No,
movie.
there's the gunstore guy.
hold up.
There's the gentleman on the golf course, and there's
the line of
Foster.
people. The line of people
And
with
then-
the gun at the drive-by.
and then the shooting. Yeah. Were any of them dead though, or were they all just injured? I go 3.
3, but wouldn't there be more than 3 in that drive-by?
But did they die?
Did they die though?
Hey, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, the only ones that we know for sure are dead. Like I said, I'm just trying to count them through, and there's
The 3 in the car.
defense. Oh, this is right. One in the
No,
car.
one of them in the
One in
car
the
didn't
car.
die.
Yeah, yeah.
The guy shot in the leg
was there
wasn't
four gang members and the girl, and then 3 died?
3
And then,
died.
and then he shoots the other one in the leg, right? Okay, so that's 3 for a
Yes.
kickoff. I'd forgotten them.
Yeah.
So we're up to 6.
The heart attack dude.
Yeah, counted him.
dead. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the guy on the golf course.
The
I'm
Nazi.
I
assuming
guess
he
you have to
died.
count. I
I'm
guess you
assuming
have
that he
to
died
count.
because his pills went into the pond. So
Yeah.
I guess you have to count Michael Douglas.
yeah, counted
Yeah.
him.
5.
I still think it's
Nazi.
6.
The Nazi die.
Did he kill him? He stuck the.
And then he
Nice
sort of
to
just
see.
went to the
He
ground.
shot him. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
Oh,
say he's dead.
I reckon he's
6.
dead.
Yeah.
So what are you up to?
I had
6.
6.
That's the correct number. Well
Wow.
done.
Dang.
Wow, recollection, man. That's good recall.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm good with body counts.
I thought the number seemed low, but you actually make the good point because the drive-by, we don't know who died,
Yeah.
and probably none of them because they didn't all look
Yeah.
like they were kill shots.
Well, apparently the gang members weren't very good shots because they missed him completely.
Oh yeah, terrible. Yeah. Okay. So
I call it like I see it.
yeah. Okay. So my last 2 facts are sort of related in a way. So the music related. So Iron Maiden has a song called Man on the Edge, and it's completely based on this movie, the whole song, to the point where the lyrics say, all right, the story about a briefcase, a lunch, and a man on the edge. The freeway is jammed and it's backed up for miles. The car is an oven and baking is wild. So their whole song is this movie. So all the
Could've
Iron
just listened
Maiden
to
fans out there are probably like, duh. But hey, I'm not an Iron Maiden fan, but I still thought it was a cool fact. And the Foo Fighters song, The Walk, if you watch that music video, it's a play on this movie as well.
All right.
So Dave Grohl's dressed in the shirt and tie, his glasses. He's walking through the city with his guitar case rather than a briefcase.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I remember the one.
And it's a riff on this movie as well. So those are my facts, even though we completely stumbled over my Simpsons one. But
I'll take no
that's
blame
all
for
right.
that.
It's all right. I mean, our conversations obviously mean nothing, so that's fine.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a busy life, Mike. You know,
It's a busy life. Tell
we're
me
just
about it,
proving
mate.
to people that none of this is rehearsed. And wouldn't it be appalling if people thought this was rehearsed? Again,
Yeah,
that was
well,
the best you could do.
As you can see, no script here.
No script. Occasionally,
Completely
no clue.
winging it. Definitely no clue. But again, we thank you for sticking with us and coming back for another
We'll
episode.
tell the truth in the intro.
Yeah. So coming back around to sticking with us for another episode. Oh no, hang on. Before we do that, sorry. See, this is what I mean. We'll get our format down, but obviously we've already sort of discussed it. But quick roundtable. So we're all saying thumbs down or
Down.
middle.
Middle
Clayton?
to down. Like, watch it, but nah.
Yeah, I'm middle to up, so we'll go 2 middles and 1 down. Sound right?
Sounds
Sounds
right,
good.
I think. Yeah.
Good. Okay, cool. Did you have a favorite scene, even though it's a movie you obviously didn't really like? But
Final credits.
okay,
Yeah.
it's a scene.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, that's
'cause then
poor.
it was finished,
Yeah, okay.
and I
fair
felt
enough.
better.
Wow.
Okay, hang on. Okay, can I ask something then? So,
Sure.
even though, and again, we talk about it almost every episode,
Mm,
our unaired pilot, The Wolf of Wall Street.
yes, indeed.
Maybe if this podcast can go for a couple of years, we'll actually go back and just redo Wolf of Wall Street.
No, I think we
No,
should.
we
just
won't.
We should.
No.
We should let the people hear it anyway.
Just,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let people hear it.
release the unaired pilot cut. Oh man. Okay, so hang on. So did you like Wolf of Wall Street? So for those, well, none of you have listened because we didn't release it. So Brian was very adamantly against the Wolf of Wall Street. Did you like this movie better than Wolf of Wall Street?
Ooh.
Yes, because
okay.
not too much of a pause, so you can't edit around that. I hated Wolf of Wall Street, which we'll cycle back to pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
This I just thought was a bad
It's
movie.
the bar.
I just thought this was a bad movie. I was
Okay.
by the end of it, I was just bored.
Okay, but Wolf of Wall Street, you can admit it's a well-made movie, right? But is it
Yeah, assuming they made it that everything that they did they intended to do, then I guess they made the movie they wanted to make. But I hated it. This
Okay.
movie, I'm
But
not
it
quite
had-
sure. Yeah, I genuinely still don't know whether he was kind of trying to be satirical or whether it was just it came out lazy to me.
so this is a dislike, not a hate.
Yeah, this is a dislike, not a hate. Yeah,
Okay.
Wolf of Wall Street for
Alright.
me was an extreme reaction to a movie, and I only watched all 3 hours of it. I still keep counting that for this podcast.
Okay, so moving forward, whether we release that episode or not in the future, we've made it clear here that Brian's bar for a movie being acceptable is it has to be better than what he thought Wolf of Wall Street was.
No, not true.
Not true?
Not true, because like I say, that was absolute utter hatred of that movie. I really, really hated it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
Yeah, but
Your
no,
Wolf
it's
of Wall Street.
that doesn't make a movie that I didn't like acceptable.
okay.
What it means is it's a movie that I didn't like, and I want the $4.99 it cost me to rent it back.
That movie's on Netflix, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
Not on New Zealand Netflix. It's not. No.
oh, well, I feel bad for you now.
No.
Well, no,
Look,
I
it is what
don't,
it is.
because I like that movie.
Look, I'm suffering
Anyway.
for my art, he says.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, there's
Oh,
movies
good.
I like, movies I don't like, and that's fine. Movies I don't like enough to stop watching them partway through. If this had not been for the podcast, this would have been one of these. By the time we got to the drive-by, I would have turned the movie off.
So, but you would have turned Wolf of Wall Street off as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they made
All
probably
right.
about 10 minutes of that movie at best.
Okay. So Clayton's picked one Brian didn't like, and I've picked one Brian didn't like. So hopefully Brian can pick one Brian doesn't like.
Wait till I pick
and then
one.
we'll
Well,
clean sweep.
yeah, you've seen my picks. I like to try challenging movies. I'm not just picking my favorites here, Mike.
No, you pick movies you haven't seen before. So
Yeah.
we'll get to one that Brian picks that Brian doesn't like. So
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of them lined up. We'll see.
we'll have the clean sweep. So okay, cool. So we'll wrap it up for Falling Down. If you're a massive fan of this movie and hate everything we said, feel free to drop us a line. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Heritage Film Pod and Twitter. And you can email us at heritagefilmpod@gmail.com, or you can go to anchor.fm/heritagefilmpod and leave us a voice message, which you can just record on your phone. And we'll play your comments on the show, even if they're not favourable,
No politics.
because we want to build no politics. We want to build some interaction with you guys, and make this a bit more interactive, I guess. So, moving on to next week.
Can I
Does
say my
Clayton's-
favourite scene?
Oh shoot! I haven't even said my
I'm just
favourite
sitting
scene.
here, and you're completely ignoring me.
No,
I feel
no,
like
I
the
didn't,
little child in the corner.
I didn't even say my favourite scene. I think we just went on a tangent from whatever Brian said.
What do you mean we? How did
I-
we go on a tangent?
We all talked. Well, not Clayton.
Well, Clayton
feel
put
like
a word
this-
in. He was in the corner. I'm sorry, Clayton.
This episode is what's
Exactly.
falling down. Man, cheapers.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Right, so, Clayton, what's your favourite scene, mate?
Not economically viable
Yeah, I thought it might be. Yeah, okay.
because it
All
can
right.
relate to today. And I was like, you know what? That's really sad that something like that hasn't changed in 20 years, 30 years?
There's a lot of things in this movie that haven't
Yeah.
changed as well. Did you realise he was wearing the exact same outfit, including the tie, that Michael Douglas was?
Yes.
Nice.
And I was
Okay.
like, okay, get it.
Right on. Well, my favourite scene, because I didn't do mine either, probably Whammy Burger, and probably because of Dee Dee Pfeiffer. So I'm going to go with that. Good. Okay. So now, Clayton,
Yes.
after the drum roll, what is your movie choice for us on the next episode?
Now, would you like a movie that I have seen before that I would like to rewatch, or a movie that I
No,
can
no, it's
say
your choice.
I actually haven't actually watched?
That's your choice. You have to choose.
I know it's my choice. I'm just asking, which one would you like?
Oh. Challenge yourself, Clayton.
Challenge myself?
Take a risk, my friend.
Okay, so a movie you haven't seen
Take a
before.
risk. That's what
Okay,
I think.
movie I haven't
For what
seen
it's
before.
worth.
I have not watched this movie in full.
So you have watched some of it.
Like the opening credits, and I don't even remember watching it.
Is that because it was bad?
No, it's because it was a film from 1989.
So,
And the
Okay.
remakes of the remakes of the remakes I've watched, but the original one, I don't think I actually have sat down and watched it properly.
okay, I'm intrigued because you said it had so many remakes.
We're watching Batman.
The 1989 one.
Yes.
Oh shit! Yes, good, brilliant.
With, is that the original Batman? I just assume that's the original
No.
Batman.
No, it's not. But it's the one that it's the biggest original one. Yes.
It's the original proper film one, I suppose, right?
Yes.
Hold on. So who was Batman before Michael Keaton?
Adam West.
Or did he have a movie?
And then some people in the 40s, which this isn't really.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there were people before them.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
way back,
okay.
and that doesn't really
Yeah.
count for this.
So for pop culture reference, we go with Adam West, and there was, which is what we call Batman 66 now, the TV show.
Oh, okay.
They made a movie, the Batman
Yep.
movie, based on that TV show.
Yep.
And then everyone forgot about Batman for a while. And then 1989 came along, and we got to see Tim Burton's Batman.
So we're watching the Michael Keaton Batman, yeah?
Yes, Tim Burton's Batman. He's the director.
Because
That is a great choice.
I can say that I have not, I don't recall watching it, and I probably have watched it as a child, but I don't, I don't remember.
So I'm interested. Are you happy about that choice, Brian? I mean, obviously, if we say we're happy, that probably means we like it, but I haven't watched it for a long time.
I haven't seen it in a really long time. I'm really keen
Yeah, same.
to see what I make of it, having seen all the stuff that's come after that. So, inspired choice, Clayton.
I'm
It's very
worried
good.
that I'm going to
Really
hate
looking
it.
forward to watching this.
You played to your co-hosts on this choice, my friend. This is
No,
me
because
and
I
Brian.
Yeah.
I like the new Batmans, and I was like, you know what? I actually haven't seen the old Batman, so why not put it in my list of something to watch?
So have you not seen any of the 4 that come in that series?
The Arnold Schwarzenegger Iceman one?
That's the one that was directed by the director of Falling Down.
Freeze is coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I've seen
I Still
that
Meet
one
You.
because it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And then there was one with the girl from Clueless.
That's the same one.
So, yeah, same one.
Oh,
She's back.
okay. Yes, I've seen that one.
So you've seen the bat nipples. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh,
Well, you're in for a treat, my friend.
I don't
You're
think
right.
you can predict what my take's going to be, Mike, and I'm pretty sure I can't predict yours. It's going to be real interesting.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, not at all. No, I'm
okay.
really, like I say, I've not seen this movie in an age,
Yeah.
and like I said, there's been lots of Batman since. So let's see.
I really wish we were doing both Batman and Batman Returns, because in my mind, I've always liked Batman Returns better, even though clearly Batman 1 is probably the better movie of the two.
hold on, it is 2 separate movies, though, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
sweet.
it's both Michael Keaton. And then 3 and 4 get recast with Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Let's not use up all the trivia for this time, huh?
Yeah, true. All right, good choice.
Yeah.
I'll edit that out.
There you
Since
go.
I did.
I
Cheers,
won't
Clint.
even tell you what was on what the other movie
Yeah,
would have been. I'll keep
I
that
don't
in my
wanna know.
pocket.
Oh, good man. All right.
All right, cool. So thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll be back in 2 weeks where we will discuss 1989's Batman.
Rick, have you ever heard the expression, the customer is always right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here I am, the customer.
That's not our policy. You have to order something from the lunch menu.
I don't want lunch. I want breakfast.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm really sorry, too.
If you like the show, please subscribe. You can follow the show on Twitter at @heritagefilmpod or drop them an email at heritagefilmpod@gmail.com.
That's the end. Thanks for listening.